Hi everyone, so welcome to another academic video. This week it's all about whether, as a busy academic, you should be reviewing journal papers. Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, it's lovely to have you join our academic space here on YouTube. I am Caroline, a UK-based physics lecturer, and this week I thought we could tackle the topic of journal paper reviews. So as an academic, one of the key things obviously we have to do is to publish our research findings. And so when I'm not teaching or doing admin work, I'll be working with my researchers, my PhD students, and we'll be writing up our research in journal papers. And of course, we then submit these to the journal, but then they undergo quite often peer review. So I think in a previous video, I might have touched upon the different types of journal paper there are. Basically, you have open access journals where you pay. So as the academic, I pay to make that journal paper open freely to anybody who'd like to read it. And then there are also journals where you have to be a subscriber to that journal. So quite often the academic institution will pay some kind of fee, and that will give their academic researchers permission to access the journal papers within that journal. And in both cases, the papers are going to be peer reviewed. Now, there are exceptions. There are occasional depositories and places you can put journal papers where they aren't going to be undergoing peer review. But in the main, your journal publication is going to be peer reviewed. So you submit it to the journal, and then you wait for the editorial team and the reviewers to give you feedback to find out if your journal paper is going to be accepted, if there's going to be corrections to that paper, and indeed if it's going to be published by the journal. And so you may think, well, who are these mysterious people reviewing the publications that get sent in to the journals? And those people are other academics. So as an academic, not only do I write journal papers and send them to other people to get reviewed, I'm also a reviewer looking at the work of other researchers. So you may think, okay, that sounds quite good fun. You're going to be reviewing and researching and reading other people's work. Why do it? Why, as an academic, is it a good thing to be a journal paper reviewer? What is in it for you as the academic? And I guess that's what this video is going to be a little bit about today. One of the first things to address then is that in my experience, when I have been asked to review a journal paper for a journal, I do not get paid. So I'm not paid for my time by the journal or the editor in order to review that particular article. I am asked to do it out of the kind of academic scholarly goodness of peer reviewing other people's research. So number one, money, at least in my experience, is not an incentive to undertake peer reviews of journal articles, because essentially I do not get any form of payment from the journal in order to undertake the review. And undertaking a review of a journal paper takes quite a lot of time. If somebody has written and prepared an article, a journal publication, they've submitted it to a journal, and then you are approached by the editorial team and asked to peer review that work, it's not necessarily going to be a quick job. It will take me quite a bit of time to read through the paper, see what the person is or the team of researchers have been exploring, what were their results, what were their findings, what was their method. Do I agree with the method principles that were used? Do the results throw up anything strange or answering more questions that I want to have answered within the journal paper? It can be quite an involved process. And if you're not getting paid, and it takes up a lot of your time, you may start to then question, well, why why am I undertaking these peer-reviewed processes for these other journals? And there is a little bit of, well, if I want my work to be published, then other people need to review my work. So in return for other academic researchers giving up their time to review my papers, I need to contribute to the community, and therefore I need to be actively involved and research and reviewing the papers of other people. So there is that kind of, I don't think it's holistic, but that kind of goodness benefit. If somebody else is going to be peer reviewing my work, I should then at least contribute to the field and peer review the work of others. And I think, as an academic, as a scholar, as a researcher, that is a really valuable and credible reason to undertake peer review, because you are aiding and supporting and hopefully maintaining an excellent scholarly standard within your research community and your research field. As an individual, of course, the other reason that it's quite interesting to be peer reviewing the work of others is you get to find out about their research. So before the research is published, I am privileged to be able to read their research to see what they're working on. Now, of course, these reviews happen in confidence, so I can't reveal what I've read. I can't say, oh, I've read the work of so-and-so, and did you know they were doing X, Y, and Z? That's not appropriate. I have to make sure that my thoughts and my review of that paper remain confidential and private and go back just to the editorial team. But it's still nevertheless interesting and fascinating to be able to get like an early look at the research coming out of other research groups. There is a whole community and kind of quite a discussion around whether, as a peer reviewer, you should be identified or not. So at the moment, some journals will have it that the journal paper will come in to the journal and then it will be sent to the reviewers. The journal paper authors will never know who reviewed their work, or maybe they can guess or try to work it out, but their names won't be confirmed. And in some cases, the journal will allow the reviewers to see who wrote the article, and in other cases, they won't. So when the journal reviewers can't see who wrote the paper, and when the people who wrote the paper can't see who's reviewing their work, that's called a double-blind review. And a lot of people think that's an appropriate and the most suitable way of doing things, because then people aren't prejudiced, there's no unconscious bias, and the people giving the review can do so freely without any worry about any worry without kind of rebuttals or anything within the academic community coming back to them. The other school of thought, of course, is the exact opposite, and that's that we should be completely transparent, so that the people who are submitting their journal paper should be fully named. You should know where they originate from, where their research has undertaken, and the people reviewing the work should also be named. And indeed, maybe they should be named on the journal article as being the people who reviewed the work, and maybe the reviewers should be asked to sign to their review to say, these was my thinking at the time, and these are the statements that I have put forward, to make them be held accountable for their review. And I guess that is to stop somebody writing a particularly harsh review without kind of credit or thought behind it, or doing a particularly quick or hurried job, because suddenly you've got to put your name in public to the review that you've given. Now, this isn't a resolved issue. This is still something that's very much being actively debated within the academic community. Should we undertake double-blind reviews for everything's private and kind of secret, if you like, and you don't know what's happening in terms of named individuals? Or do we go the opposite route and have it open so everybody knows everything about who's written it and who's reviewing it? Or do we do these kind of weird halfway houses where maybe the reviewers are private but the authors of the paper aren't? But let me know, do you review lots of journal papers? Are there some journals that you will deliberately not review papers for because of the way that they've maybe handled your work in the past? Would you like to always be anonymous as a reviewer, or are you happy to be open? I mean, there is so much to discuss about journal paper reviewing, and I think this little video just touches the surface. So let's see, let me know your thoughts, and if it's an area that we've got lots to say, we can do a future video discussing maybe a couple more issues that are connected with journal paper reviewing. But in the meantime, I hope you had a good weekend. Obviously, this video is going out on a Monday. If you're new to the channel, my videos always tend to go out on a Monday, 10 o'clock UK time. So have a really good week. Look after yourselves, take care, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.